Humanity has built monuments that touch the sky, created artificial intelligence that redefines thinking, and developed technologies that can cure diseases and extend life. We have the power to shape near-perfect futures. But when we look back at history and even ancient legends, we see a disturbing pattern. Civilizations that fall, collapse, or self-destruct. Why does such a capable species seem to choose, time and again, paths that lead to failure? Is it a flaw in our nature? Or something deeper that we don't yet understand? Welcome to Synthetic Secrets. I'm Sian7. Today, we are going to delve into three fascinating stories from the past. Egypt and its mysteries of eternal power, the Anunnaki and their legends of cosmic influence, and Atlantis, the civilization that fell to its own greed. Let's explore what these stories teach us about our future. Are we repeating the same mistakes? Or can we learn from them? Let's find out together. Our analysis goes beyond the idea that history is a straight line of progress. What if, instead, humanity is stuck in cycles of rise and fall? Are we doomed to repeat the same mistakes, or can we break this pattern? By exploring these ancient stories, we will question whether our age of technology and AI is truly different, or whether we are simply living another chapter in a very old story. Let's start with Egypt, a civilization that seemed eternal, but that hid secrets of control and power. Not the Egypt you know from books, with its 3,000 years of pharaohs and pyramids. An ancient document called the Ancient Egyptian Chronicle tells us a much deeper story. It suggests that Egypt had a 36,000-year history, beginning with gods like Helios ruling directly, followed by demigods and, much later, human pharaohs. A civilization that seems almost eternal, withstanding the test of time like no other. Could this be the record of a perfect world, a kind of lost paradise? Let's think. What would it take for a civilization to last this long? Imagine a system where everything is controlled. Beliefs, resources, even knowledge. A central power that decides everything, focused on maintaining order and glorifying the rulers. When we look at the Egypt we know, with its pharaohs treated as gods, powerful priests, and enormous pyramids that consumed resources and labor to symbolize eternity, we see signs of this rigid control. They believed in the divine order, called Ma'at, that kept everything in place. But did this quest for an eternal kingdom create a perfect society? Or just a prison where progress was stifled by rules that could not be changed? Here comes another intriguing idea. This story reminds us of the Tower of Babel, a legend about a civilization that tried to build something so great that it defied the heavens, only to end up falling because of its own ambition. In Egypt, this quest for eternity may have been its strength, but also its weakness. Such a rigid system may not have been able to adapt, leading to crises that weakened it over time. So what does this story tell us? Was Egypt a model of success? A kingdom that almost achieved perfection? Or was it a civilization that, in trying to be eternal, sacrificed its ability to grow and change? We will explore this further in the next case, the Anunnaki and their mysterious influence. Leaving Egypt and its mysteries of eternal control behind, let us now explore an even more intriguing idea. What if the history of humanity was shaped by visitors from another world? Many ancient cultures speak of beings who came from the sky, bringing knowledge and order. One of the most famous theories is about the Anunnaki, which was described in Sumerian texts and popularized by authors such as Zecharia Sitchin. According to this idea, the Anunnaki were advanced beings who arrived on Earth thousands of years ago. They would have come in search of gold, genetically manipulating primitive humans to work as a kind of manual labor. Later, They created kings and leaders to keep everything under control, giving rise to the first monarchies. This same story seems to echo in other parts of the world. In Brazil, the Kayapo people of the Amazon tell the legend of Bep-Kororoti, a being who came down from the mountains in a shining suit, taught wisdom to the tribe, and one day blasted off into the sky. To many theorists, this sounds like an ancient astronaut, perhaps an Anunnaki. But what does this story really mean? Let's think. If the Anunnaki existed and shaped us, would this be a leap forward for humanity? A gift of knowledge that led us to create civilizations? Or is it something darker? A way of exploiting us, controlling us to serve their interests? Imagine a humanity that begins by believing that it was created to serve others. How would this change the way we think, live, and build our societies? Instead of a collapse caused by our own mistakes, as in Egypt, here the problem comes from outside. Our potential is used, or even limited, by forces beyond our control. So, what do you think? Are the Anunnaki our guides to a better world, or masters who have trapped us in a system of control? Let's delve even deeper into the next case, Atlantis and the price of human ambition. After exploring Egypt and the Anunnaki, let's now turn to a different story, one that tells of a civilization destroyed by its own mistakes. It's the legend of Atlantis, told more than 2,000 years ago by the philosopher Plato. He describes Atlantis as a powerful island, located beyond the Pillars of Hercules, in what we now call the Strait of Gibraltar. It was a nearly perfect society, rich, advanced, with impressive technology and a harmony that seemed to come from the gods. A true example of an ideal world where everything worked. But the story changes. Over time, Atlantis abandoned its values. Wealth and power went to its head, and what was harmony turned into unbridled ambition. They became an aggressive empire, using their technology to conquer other peoples, driven by pride and greed. Plato warns us, this arrogance, this blind search for more, was the beginning of the end. Atlantis fell catastrophically. Some say it was divine punishment, others that it was a natural disaster, perhaps even caused by the Atlanteans themselves. In a single day, the island sank into the sea, taking all its potential with it. What does this legend teach us? Atlantis is like a warning. A society can have everything it needs to be perfect, but if it lets ambition and pride take over, it creates its own downfall. Unlike Egypt, which was obsessed with control, or the Anunnaki, who perhaps manipulated us from the outside, here the problem comes from within. Atlantis destroyed itself because it did not know how to deal with its own success. Could this same pattern be present in our history? And, more importantly, is it still alive today? Let's find out in the next step by looking at our own world. We've already explored Egypt and its eternal control, the Anunnaki and their mysterious influence, and Atlantis, destroyed by its own greed. Now let's turn our attention to the present, to the year 2025. Are the same patterns we saw in the past repeating themselves today, only amplified by our technology? Let's take a closer look. We live in an age of incredible potential. Artificial intelligence can solve complex problems. We can produce food far beyond the current global population. Biotechnology promises to cure diseases, and the internet connects the world like never before. We have the tools to create a near-perfect future, where life is better for everyone. But when we look closer, we see troubling signs that recall ancient stories. First, the quest for resources. In the past, the Anunnaki were said to have come for gold, and Atlantis coveted land. Today, the fight is for data, the new gold, for control of technology, and for the energy that sustains our digital world. this ambition still drives us. Second, the focus on control. Many of the greatest advances in AI are being used for surveillance, autonomous weapons, and digital warfare. Countries and companies are investing billions to gain power, rather than using this technology to improve health, education, or the environment. And it doesn't stop there. Think about society as a whole. Many people are stuck in a never-ending rut, like hamsters on a wheel, focused only on surviving and achieving small daily ambitions. They have no time or perspective to question the impact of their actions on society. Meanwhile, brilliant discoveries are made every day, but they are often swallowed up by vested interests. Why are there so many treatments for human problems, but so few real cures? Who benefits from prolonging suffering rather than ending it? This shows how small groups, driven by their own interests, can limit the progress of everyone, keeping society trapped in invisible chains. Third, the risk of arrogance. AI advances rapidly, but often without clear rules or debates about ethics. At the same time, power is increasingly concentrated in a few companies and governments, like a new global elite. Doesn't this remind us of the greed of Atlantis, which fell because it wanted too much? So why do we keep making the same mistakes? Is there something in our nature, a flaw that causes us to choose power and control over a better future? Or is it that with today's technology, we can finally learn from the past and change our ways? Let's reflect on this. We've explored Egypt and its eternal control, the Anunnaki and their mysterious influence, and Atlantis, destroyed by its own greed. In each story, we've seen the same pattern. Humanity, or whoever shaped it, has incredible potential to create, but also a tendency to fall because of greed, control, and arrogance. Today, in 2025, these patterns are still here, amplified by our technology. Artificial intelligence and other advances give us the chance to build a better world. But we also see a race for power, surveillance, and control that could lead us to a dark future. Are we trapped in an inevitable cycle of rise and fall by our own petty nature and our animalistic instincts for competition? Is there something in our nature that prevents us from achieving a truly better future? Or will our technology and global connectivity give us the chance to change this story for the first time? The answer is not written. Or is it? And we ignore it every day? Does it depend on the choices we make now? How do we use what we learned from the past to shape the future? Or is it already accomplished in some way that even when we change the pieces, we can't change the outcome? Utopia or dystopia? Reflect on this. If these stories and reflections on the human future got you thinking, subscribe to Synthetic Secrets for more content like this. Like if you enjoyed it, share it so others can discover it, and leave a comment. Which pattern from the past do you think is most dangerous for our future? Or gives us the most hope? I'm Sin7. Until the next broadcast.